7.02%. That is the national average HELOC rate right now. According to Bankrate's April 2026 survey, 6.77%. That is the average rate on a 30-year cash-out refinance. Same week, same country, same economy. Both of them let you pull money out of your house. One is a credit line. The other replaces your entire mortgage. The rate gap between them is 25 basis points. But the total cost difference over 10 years can be tens of thousands of dollars. Two products that sound almost identical, two outcomes that don't belong in the same conversation. $34.1 trillion. That is total homeowner equity in the United States as of Q4 2025. Per the Federal Reserve SZ.1 release published March 2026. According to Cotality, SQ4 2025 Homeowner Equity Report, the average borrower with a mortgage is sitting on roughly $295,000 in equity. Most of that money does nothing. It just sits there appreciating on paper. Inaccessible unless you sell or borrow against it. Before I go any further, I am not a financial advisor. I don't know your situation, your house, your credit score, or what you need the money for. Everything in this video is education. I am laying out how two products work so you can have a smarter conversation with someone who is licensed to advise you. That is it. Here is what a HELOC actually is. A home equity line of credit. Your lender gives you a credit limit based on your equity. You draw from it when you want. You pay interest only on what you draw. The rate is variable, pegged to the prime rate plus a margin. Right now, prime sits at 6.75%. According to the Federal Reserve SH.15 release as of April 2026, most HELOCs add a quarter point to half a point on top of that draw period, typically 10 years. During that window, you can borrow, repay, borrow again. Minimum payments are usually interest only. Then the repayment period kicks in 10 to 20 years, no more draws. Principal plus interest, monthly payment jumps. Here is what a cash out refinance actually is. You replace your existing mortgage with a new, larger mortgage. The difference between the old balance and the new balance goes to you as cash. The rate is fixed. The term resets 30 years from today. That 6.77% is locked in. It does not move when the Fed moves. It does not care about prime. It is yours for 3 decades. Closing costs HELOC. Some lenders charge zero closing costs. Bank of America, BMO, and several credit unions currently waive origination and appraisal fees on HELOCs. Other lenders charge anywhere from 2 to 5% of the credit limit. On a $50,000 HELOC, you could pay nothing with the right lender or up to $2,500 with another. Cash out refi, 2 to 6% of the new loan amount. On a $300,000 refinance, that is $6,000 to $18,000 out of your equity before you have spent a dime of the money you came for. And this is where most people stop comparing the two products. They see the closing cost gap and pick the HELOC, or they see the fixed rate and pick the refi. Both of those decisions skip the part that actually determines which one costs more. The part that actually determines which one costs more is how much you need and for how long. If you need $30,000 for a kitchen remodel and you will pay it back in 3 years, the HELOC wins by a wide margin. You are paying interest on $30,000, not on your entire mortgage balance. Your closing costs can be near zero with the right lender. Even at a slightly higher variable rate, the total interest paid over 36 months is roughly $3,300. A cash out refi for the same $30,000 means you have now restarted your mortgage clock. If you had 22 years left on your current loan and you reset to 30, you just added 8 years of interest payments on your entire balance, not just on the 30,000, on everything. Let's actually run it. Say your current mortgage balance is $250,000 at 3.2% with 22 years remaining. Monthly payment around $1,310 cash out refi. New balance $280,000 at 6.77% over 30 years. New monthly payment around $1,820. That is $510 more per month. For 30 years, 510 times 360 months. $183,600 in additional payments to access $30,000. Nobody tells you the $30,000 kitchen costs $183,000 when you finance it this way. That is the kind of number that makes you close the laptop and go for a walk. But if you need $150,000 and you need it all at once and you need the payment to be predictable for 20 years, the math flips. A HELOC at 7% variable on 150,000 balance means your monthly interest only payment during the draw period is about $875. Sounds manageable until the draw period ends and you enter repayment. If the rate has climbed to 9% by then, your fully amortized payment over 15 years jumps to $1,521. You went from 875 to 1,521 overnight, same loan, same balance. Just a different phase. A cash out refi for 150,000 at 6.77 locked in for 30 years gives you a predictable payment from day one. No phase transitions, no rate surprises. Here is the tax piece since it matters and most people get it wrong. Interest on both HELOCs and cash out refis is potentially tax deductible, but only if you use the money to buy, build, or substantially improve the home that secures the loan. That is the IRS rule under publication 936. It does not matter what the product is called. It matters what you spend the money on. Use the HELOC to redo the roof. Deductible up to the $750,000 combined mortgage debt cap. Use the HELOC to pay off credit cards. Not deductible. Same rule applies to cash out refi proceeds. The product does not determine the deduction. The spending does. Your tax software will not ask you what you spent HELOC money on. That is on you to track and document. Nobody posts about the HELOC payment shock on social media. They post the before and after of the bathroom renovation. The part where the draw period ended and the payment doubled happens quietly in the kitchen on a Tuesday. The variable rate risk is real and it is not theoretical. Between March 2022 and July 2023, the Fed raised rates by 525 basis points. If you had opened a HELOC in January 2022 at 3.5%, by mid-2023, your rate was above 8%. Same credit line, same house. Same, you rate more than doubled. The people who locked in cash out refis at 3% in 2021 watched all of that from the sideline. Their payment did not move, but here is the reverse. If rates drop, the HELOC holder benefits automatically. The cash out refi holder is stuck at their locked rate unless they refinance again and pay closing costs, again, 2 to 6%. Again, and every lender who offers you either product has a structural incentive tied to which one generates more revenue for them over the life of the loan. None of them lose money when you say yes. The flexibility question. HELOC, borrow what you need when you need it. Pay it back, borrow again. If you need $20,000 in June and another $15,000 in September, you draw $20,000, then $15,000. You only pay interest on what is outstanding. Cash out refi, you get the full amount at closing, all of it. If you take out $80,000 but only need $40,000 right now, the other $40,000 sits in your checking account earning 0.4% while you pay 6.77% on it. That spread is costing you about $212 a month on the idle $40,000. A HELOC is a faucet. Turn it on when you need water, turn it off when you don't. A cash out refi is a swimming pool delivery. The entire pool shows up on a truck one Tuesday morning, whether you are ready to swim or not, and you start paying for the water immediately. Now, here is where it gets personal. Reese, 38, lives in a mid-sized city in North Carolina, works in supply chain logistics, earns $86,000 a year, credit score 742. Bought a house in 2019 for $265,000. Current balance, $191,000 at 3.1%. Estimated home value now, $395,000. Reese has roughly $204,000 in equity, after accounting for the 80% loan to value most lenders require. Tappable equity is about $125,000. Reese needs $50,000 for a detached home office build. Reese does not need the money all at once. The contractor wants $20,000 up front, $15,000 at framing, $15,000 at completion. Project timeline is about 5 months. Reese looked at a cash out refi. New loan, $241,000 at 6.77%. New payment, $1,566 a month. Current payment, $970. That is $596 more per month for 30 years. To access $50,000 spread over 5 months, Reese looked at a HELOC. Credit limit, $125,000 rate, 7.2% variable. Draw $20,000 when the contractor starts, draw $15,000 at framing, draw $15,000 at completion. Interest only payments during the draw period on whatever is outstanding. First month, $120. By month 5, roughly $300. Reese ran the numbers on a Tuesday night after the kids were asleep and sat there for a while. By any reasonable definition, Reese did the math, right? But the system does not hand you a side by side. You have to build it yourself at your kitchen table at 10:30 at night, hoping you did not miss a variable. The rate lock trap. Reese has a 3.1% mortgage from 2019. Doing a cash out refi means giving that up forever. That 3.1 becomes 6.77 on the entire balance, not just the 50,000 in new money on the original 191,000 too. The interest cost difference on the original balance alone, going from 3.1 to 6.77 on 191,000, is roughly $584 more per month, 7,008 more per year, in exchange for exactly zero new dollars. That is the hidden cost of a cash out refi for anyone who locked in a rate below 4% between 2019 and 2021. You are not just borrowing new money, you are repricing old money at more than double the rate. There is a version of this where the cash out refi makes sense. If your current rate is already at 6% or above, if you need a large lump sum, if you want a fixed payment for 30 years and you are willing to pay the premium for certainty. If your HELOC rate would be higher than a refi rate and you plan to carry the balance for more than 7 years. In those conditions, the math can favor the refi. There is a version where the HELOC makes sense. If your existing mortgage rate is low and you want to keep it, if you need a smaller amount, if you need it in stages, if you plan to pay it back within 5 years, if you can absorb rate variability, neither product is better. Both are tools. The question is which one matches the shape of what you actually need the money for. The number most people never calculate: total interest paid over the full life of whichever product they choose. Not the monthly payment, not the rate, the total number. Reese's HELOC scenario. 50,000 drawn over 5 months, paid back over 4 years at an average rate of 7.4%. Total interest paid, approximately $7,900. Reese's cash out refi scenario. 50,000 in new money plus 191,000, repriced from 3.1 to 6.77. Total additional interest over 30 years compared to keeping the original mortgage. Approximately $246,000, 7,900 versus 246,000. For the same $50,000, that number is not designed to scare you. It is designed to show you that the choice between these two products is not about the rate. It is not about the monthly payment. It is about what happens to your existing mortgage when you touch it. One more thing nobody mentions: if you take a HELOC and rates drop 2% over the next 3 years, your HELOC rate drops automatically. You pay less without doing anything. If you take a cash out refi at 6.77 and rates drop 2%, you are still paying 6.77 unless you refinance again, pay closing costs again. 2 to 6% of the loan amount. Again, the HELOC carries rate risk in both directions. The refi carries certainty in both directions. You are either paying for flexibility or paying for predictability. Neither is free. So here is the question you should probably answer before you talk to any lender, run any application, or click any button. What is your current mortgage rate? How much do you actually need? Do you need it all at once or in stages? How fast can you realistically pay it back? And can you sleep at night with a payment that might move 5 questions? No lender will walk you through all 5. That part is yours.